Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Uncharted, The Lost Legacy, Crushing Difficulty walkthrough, and this is Chapter 7, also known as The Lost Legacy. And the first part of this fight consists of 3 phases, and this first part is, in my opinion, the absolutely hardest one. This is, in my opinion, one of the harder fights in this game. It consists of only, I think it's 5 or 6 enemies, but you spend your time hanging off this bridge. And to get in a position where you can fire at the enemies, you have to expose yourself to danger, and since you're hanging off an edge, if that guy with the rocket launcher comes a bit too close, you will lose your grip and you will fall to your death. And thankfully Naughty Dog acknowledged how hard this part of the fight is. Because as soon as you make it across this bridge and you beat these 5 or 6 enemies, you will get a checkpoint. And that checkpoint actually made me realize something about this game. Because I'm gonna run out of bullets going up here. There is a sniper and there is a normal soldier over there. And I run out of bullets. I think I fired my very last bullet taking down the soldier after I take out the sniper. And I died once at the next part of the fight, and it restarted me at about halfway through this bridge. All the enemies are dead, but you have to restart that bridge. And suddenly I had bullets in. I didn't have as many bullets as I did when I started the chapter, but at least I had some of them. Oh, apparently I have 11 bullets still, but you're gonna very soon see that suddenly I have more bullets. And also I think you're gonna see a little bit of a transition. Yeah, suddenly I have 21 bullets in my rifle. And that was the checkpoint doing that. I had nothing to do with it, but I'm quite glad it happened, because this is a big fight we're going into now. And I like to go up here on the 2nd floor, because this makes the first part of this a lot easier. You see, suddenly my Raffica bullets are reloaded as well. Because the only area where enemies can get at you is on the right side of this arch. Down there on the left, the gap is too big, so if they want to get over to you, they have to go through here. And that means no one can flank you. There will be a guy showing up there to my right, but as long as you stay over here on the right side, the closest corner, he won't be able to hit you. So we can let him be for the time being. And also in the previous chapter I picked up 4 C4s before I left, and they are going to serve you very well in this chapter if you use them wisely. And as you can see, the heavy went down with just 1 C4, which shows us that C4 is a much stronger explosive than the grenade. Because when you fire a grenade at the heavy, even if you make it land directly at his feet, he will still survive. It will hurt him a lot, but usually it will take off his helmet, but you're still gonna have to put some bullets in him to kill him. But C4 will take him out immediately, and that is good to remember, because we are gonna face off against at least 1 more heavy, and there is also 2 ultra heavies in this fight. But the tools we get from the first ultra heavy are gonna serve as well when it comes to the second one. But that is a bit further into the fight, so let's focus on this part. Now I've taken out most enemies here in the first area that are gonna rush us, so I'm gonna turn my attention over to this guy. Because I'm not quite sure where he is in relation to everything else up further into the battlefield. So since I am in quite a good position up here, I want to take him out while I still have bullets in my assault rifle. Because this is one of those fights where you don't want to head too far into the battlefield. It's good to stay back, take your shots, and await the best times, the opportune moments to fire. There is no shame in it, and also between the bridge and the very last spawn of enemies, there are 2 spawns, or 3 actually if you count the bridge. There is the bridge, there is this huge concoction of enemies, and after you've taken them all out and advanced far enough into this area, you will trigger the last spawn. And before that spawn, you will reach a checkpoint. I thought there wasn't one, since this game is very inconsistent with checkpoints. I've mentioned it before. So I got a bit nervous because I died on the last spawn once, and I just thought to myself, oh my god, I'm gonna have to start over at the bridge. I'm gonna have to take down all these guys again. But luckily for me, Naughty Dog decided to be kind and they put in a checkpoint. But this position right here, this is an awesome place to be, because no one on the other side can flank you without you noticing. They are gonna have a really hard time getting over here because you can see the entire battlefield on the other side. They cannot flank you silently. If you go over, you're gonna put yourself in harm's way, because the enemies are gonna try to flank you, and they will probably succeed in flanking you because it's a lot of area to cover, and this is quite a big chasm or whatever it's called. So to get to you, they're gonna put themselves in harm's way from you, and that's what we're gonna use to our advantage. Also, these stairs are absolutely amazing when it comes to taking down the guys on the second floor. If I can start aiming like a gamer and not like an idiot. Apparently this guy is wearing some type of body armor, or I'm just using a shitty rifle. This rifle used to be one of my favorites. I remember I used it quite a lot when I played Uncharted 4. Just due to the fact that you could zoom in and it fires single bullets. Because, as you know, you get a lot less bullets in Uncharted 4 in this game. I've talked about it to a great extent. And that's why I started to like this gun, because it only fired one bullet at a time. If you managed to clip their head, it was always a kill shot. But I think they nerfed it a little bit in this game. I'm not quite sure. I haven't played Uncharted 4 in well over a year. I'm gonna record a walkthrough for it. I said I would cover the entire Uncharted series except for Golden Abyss. I do have Golden Abyss, but I haven't played it myself, and I'm not quite sure how to capture video from my PS Vita. But anyway, we open this lockbox and find there is some C4 in it, so I think I'm gonna take that with. I can't remember which one of the explosives I chose to bring with me when I push up and trigger the next spawn. Which makes me realize there is actually... What did I say? There were 4 spawns? Well, it's one more than I said. I can't remember if I said there's 3 or 4. But now we're taking down spawn number 2. And there are still no checkpoints. Be wary of that. After the wave that you will trigger when you push up now, after you've taken down that wave, you will get a checkpoint. But now you will spawn the first ultra heavy. So I'm just running around trying to pick up anything useful I can find. I have a Desert Eagle. If you watched my videos, you know I love this gun. It's very rewarding to use. It's 7 kill shots unless you find a heavy. Then they take 2 or 3 bullets to go down, but all regular enemies, that's 7 kills. So I'm gonna push up a little bit. I know I'm gonna trigger the spawn as soon as I pass this little bridge. Here comes the ultra heavy and his little friends. So I immediately start falling back. I move back behind that pillar up there. Because I know, once again, no one can get over here unless they try to go through me, more or less. And the ultra heavy can't get over here at all. Which is actually great. I'm gonna kill him in a very cheeky way, as they say in England. So now I'm just waiting. They have lost track of me, so I'm using that to my advantage. And apparently my aiming skills went totally out the window. So that is how you don't kill an enemy. Today's lesson in how you don't play a game on its highest difficulty. Try to make your shots make contact. And here comes Mr. Ultra Heavy. He's not this big silent type. You know he's coming because he loves spraying his giant... No, actually I tell a lie. It's not Mr. Ultra Heavy. It's just this guy with an itchy trigger finger. Well, the Ultra Heavy is heading our way. I know that. So we throw in a grenade. Try to take out both these guys. Didn't work as well as I had hoped. It only took out one of them, but Nadine goes in. Once again, total beast mode and takes out the other one. And apparently the Ultra Heavy has fallen asleep, so I'm gonna push up once again and try to get his attention, because I want him to come over here. Because I know over here I hold all the trump. And here he comes, so I throw up a grenade, try to soften him up, and then I go completely fisticuffs on that guy. And now I'm quite sure I have his attention. He's made me very aware of that. So here he comes, and now we have a standoff. He can't get any further, so I could try to take him out with explosives completely, but I throw in a grenade to take off his helmet, and I'm gonna switch to the Para 45, and this is how you take down an Ultra Heavy. So I just pop out, quick headshot, down he goes. Didn't even have to waste my Desert Eagle. And thankfully he was kind enough to drop his giant Terminator gun. And that is that's what's gonna get us through the third wave of this. Or fourth or fifth or the last wave of this fight. Because in the last wave there are, I think there are 2 heavies, there is 1 Ultra Heavy and a few foot soldiers. Yeah. And of course, there is this guy left. There is a grenade launcher guy in this wave. I had forgotten about him. But since he is in the position he is in, I can use, for once the cover trick almost works. Because he can't shoot at me. I'm standing in such an angle so he can't get a shot. Therefore he will not shoot. So I could just line up and first take off his helmet and then take his brains out through his ears.
Say hello to my very large friend.
And what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna push up to that pillar over there. You're gonna see a little transition once again, because I died on my first attempt, I succeeded in my second attempt. And now I'm more or less gonna spawn kill most of these guys. Because they jump down there on the left, and now we're going in Terminator mode. Down goes 1, down goes 2. Here comes the Ultra Heavy, trying to focus fire on his head. Down he goes. And now we have 2 guys with shotguns. There goes 1, there goes 2. And that is the end of that fight. Really easy, wasn't it?
Now to find a way out of here.
Only reason I died on my first attempt was that I got really lucky. I started aiming all over the place, panicked a little bit. It happens to us all. It happens even to elite gamers, I think. The ones that have so much money and been playing video games since they were in the womb. They choke at times as well. So actually now I have a Desert Eagle and I have a China Lake. These are great weapons to carry over, because there is one more big fight in this chapter. It is actually at the end of the chapter, but these are the best weapons you can bring in there, in my opinion. Because, as I've said, all power weapons in this game are great. If I could have brought the last Ultra Heavy's giant Rambo Terminator Predator Halo 3 gun with me, I would have. But unfortunately you have to go through a bunch of platforming to get to that fight, so sadly the game doesn't allow you to do that. which would have been quite interesting. That is,
Here again. Must be a way into the city.
in this
somewhere.
game you may know there are tweaks. You can spawn in all the game's different weapons except for that big, I think it's called the DSHK or something like that.
Whoa,
Let's
up there.
let's go id Software on it and just call it the BFG. But you cannot spawn, you can spawn in every type of weapon in this game after you've beaten the game once. Except for that giant rifle and a turret, of course.
It's a shame.
But
anyway.
all other
The
guns
least you can
from
do
the
well.
Para 45 up to the RPG are weapons you can spawn in at will. In most instances, at least. If you're not supposed to have a weapon, I don't think you can spawn them in. And that is also the only requirements for being able to do that is that you've beaten the game once and you have to find some of the collectibles, I think, because when you pick up a collectible you get points and they cost points to unlock. And as I said, the only requirement for being able to unlock them is that you've beaten the
we go.
game. So you can
Up this way.
basically run through this game on Explorer difficulty if you want. Pick up some collectibles, get some treasures, get some optional conversations, pick up some lockboxes, all that stuff. And then unlock the Desert Eagle and the RPG and just run through crushing difficulty if you want to. That is one way of doing it. It's not a very honorful way. I prefer to do it the legitimate way, so to speak, using my skill and cunning and experience from
Blown the
playing
entrance.
video games almost all my
Gotta
life,
be another
actually.
way in.
I think I got my first, or my family got our first gaming console when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I remember the first console I ever played was either an Intellivision or a ColecoVision. And for all you kids out there that never heard of it, I'm not surprised. Because it is a really old console. It had a really weird gamepad. It had like a joystick and an alphanumeric pad going from 1 to 9. And I think it was also what's called an asterisk and a hashtag. Very weird gamepad. And that was back in the good old days when video games more or less consisted of 4 pixels and your imagination. That was long before polygons and vectors came into the configuration. Was not the word I was looking for, but came into play at least. Anyways, that was back in the Stone Ages. But as I said, I've divided this chapter up into 2 videos because it would be quite lengthy otherwise, and we are coming up very soon to the end of chapter 1. I also think there are 2 treasures in here if you want to get them, and when Nadine shows up here you will go up to this and you will go into a little cutscene and you're gonna find out something about Chloe's past. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.